I woke up one day to learn that talking about a meritocracy was a dog whistle. I woke up one day to learn that the actual words, Vivek, work ethic, are problematic. Lockheed Martin actually arbitraged them out of their company handbook. Korn Ferry has a whole list of words that have been deemed problematic, like drive, ambition.
So I did a video last week. It was titled, "Who Will Build Our Future?" And it got a lot of comments. And I think some people misconstrued what I was trying to say, but I think that's kind of typical of the society of today. People just hear what they want to hear. But I think to sum it up, and what I'm gonna expound on today is the entire real estate industry is full of lazy people. When I say lazy people, I'm talking about people who don't want to do their jobs, who don't want to work as hard as they should, but yet still want to get paid. The real estate industry right now is so full of people who want to get paid without working. And that is the problem. And it's the construction workers, some of them, but it's also the white collar folks, right? It's the appraisers, the inspectors, the real estate agents. Like everybody wants to get a big check off of the process of creating a real estate asset, but you're seeing very shallow work ethic. I mean, look, it's across every board. We could pick out different industries, not just real estate. Work ethic in general is just becoming a fleeting thing in terms of people's requirements or how they present themselves in the workforce. Nobody wants to work. People don't want to work. They don't want to go above and beyond. They want to do bare minimum. The real estate industry right now is full of bare minimum people. Real estate agents want to do bare minimum. Construction workers want to do bare minimum. You know, people want to do, even homeowners want to do bare minimum when they're putting their house on the market. I mean, if you look at some of the houses that are on the market, like it looks like some people just literally got up and left and said, all right, go ahead and list it. Like didn't take any type of effort, or didn't put in just a small amount of effort to maybe fix this thing or fix that thing. I know some people are in different financial situations and maybe they just can't. But I mean, sweep up, wipe a window, clean a toilet, you know, basic things. So across the board, I think it's just a part of our culture. And look, I really don't care who disagrees. You can't prove me wrong. Like one thing about work ethic is something that is evident in itself, right? You can't say, oh, I got work ethic, but yet there's no work to show for it. And in this industry, the lack of work ethic is what we see across the board, from pre-construction to construction to even post-construction. I mean, you'll find houses or you'll find work sites that are supposedly done and they didn't even clean up properly. You know, I mean, look, I've gone in walls on projects and we get behind the wall, behind the sheetrock, and you'll find a bunch of dirt, dust, and debris and trash that should have been cleaned up before they put the sheetrock on the wall. Again, it's just a lack of effort across the board, and it's really crippling the real estate industry in so many ways. And this is a complex conversation. It's a complex topic. I'm not saying I have all the answers, but I know I'm a dude with an amazing work ethic. Right? Work ethic drives who I am. It's evident in my work. I mean, I don't have to, prove it in this space, because people who know me, people who are familiar with my projects, understand that. And I still fall short sometimes, right? Work ethic is also, it's never a goalpost that you reach. You're just always trying to work more or do better on each project. But I've seen it. I've been in the industry for a very long time, and I see a lack of work ethic as a common theme amongst a lot of people in this construction industry. Again, those that are involved in the construction and people that are involved in the selling of the construction asset. And it's really horrible. And so you have people who wake up, do bare minimum, and they're expecting to get the most out of a deal, or the most. It's like the drive becomes the dollar instead of the process or the product, right? And the perfection of that product. So again, these are my opinions, but prove me wrong. Show me something different. Show me where work ethic is really leading. And yes, there are some examples. There are some people. There are some realtors. There are some appraisers. There are some construction workers who are putting in a lot of work. But a lot of times those people are undervalued, underpaid, right? And that's just my experience. So the video that we put out last week, there was a ton of comments on it. Now, one thing that I know about the world we live in today, in the social media world, it's so easy to comment on someone's social media post. You don't have to know anything about what they're talking about, and you can comment. And you can just say a bunch of chicken scratch. You could type in a whole thesis statement or essay and not know exactly what you're talking about. So the video that I put last week talking about the shortage of workers, the lack of work ethic on the next generation of workers, right? The younger people. So I got a bunch of comments, like one here. There's a ton of master craftsmen. If you don't pay, you don't get skilled teachers. They refuse to work unless you pay up. All right, so there's a difference between a contractor and an employer. A contractor who most often is an employer and an employee. An employee, look, you don't understand all the HR things going on. You just show up to work, you get your paycheck, unless you're in the business functions or the administrative functions, right? And I'm not trying to belittle anybody's role, but when you're in the realm, or when you have the responsibility of looking at pay, when you're looking at the cost of running a business, you're a little bit more prepared to have comments about this reality. Now, I can tell you as an employer, the guys who show up, the skilled master craftsmen, the skilled workers, they get paid, and they get paid good money, right? Because it's in my interest to pay the guys the best that I can pay, so that they're happy, so that they show up, so that they do a great job, so the client says, wow, this is a great job, let's continue this business relationship. Like, folks don't understand, contractors, right? We don't, our satisfaction doesn't come from a paycheck. We don't get paychecks when you own the business. What you get is continued business. You get client referrals. You get consistent contracts. In order to get that, you have to deliver a good product. In order to deliver a good product, you got to have some skilled folks on your team that are happy and enthusiastic. In order to do that, you got to pay, right? Contractors know this. Employers know this. You got to pay. Now, there may be some people who have had bad experiences in construction who, quite frankly, may have had a shitty pay, right? That does exist too. There are some contractors who don't want to pay their folks, but that's not the entire industry. Trust me, the good guys pay because the good guys want a good product, because a good product means a continuation of business. So you can't expect one bad experience to sort of be the determining factor or the descriptive factor for all the experiences that people have in construction. I'm telling you, there's a lot of money in construction. There's a lot of money if you're a worker. Look, there are a lot of contracts available. I'm signed up to this bidding platform. Is called Plan Hub, I think, or whatever. I don't pay a lot of attention to it. I don't bid on it, but I get the active bids. So I see the amount of jobs that are out here. There are a lot of construction job opportunities. When I mean job opportunities, I'm speaking in the sense of a contractor. So I'm talking about contractual opportunities. There are a lot of contractual opportunities that are out here, right? I'm working for Modutech right now. Modutech is a large-scale turnkey framing company, and they get tons of bids daily, weekly, monthly, right? I mean, just there's no shortage of construction work in America. There's a shortage of the people who can fill the gap. There's a shortage of the workers. There's a shortage of the contractors. And it's not just the workers. There are also contractors who are lazy as hell too. There are contractors who just want to be the boss, right? They don't want to get dirty. They don't want to pull their tools out. And I get it. You got to run the business, but they don't want to be good leaders. You got to be a good leader. You can't be a leader in a contractual world and your workers never see you get dirty. They don't know your capacity. Like, you got to be a good leader, or you have to earn your way to the top where you are hands off. Okay, but that takes time. But you can't get into the business. You've been a contractor 5 years and now you're expecting to sit back and just run a bunch of employees. So across the board, there's a lot of room for improvement. That room, or that space for improvement, those can begin to turn into improvements in the overall industry, how houses are built, how the transfer of those houses, meaning how the sales process. I mean, it's just, look, ask 10 people who've bought a house recently, what was their experience when buying that house? Was it a great experience, or what were the areas of improvement? And I guarantee you, the majority of the things that they're going to say or point out are going to speak to work ethic or lack thereof. Don't take my word for it. Just ask people, what's your experience? Same thing when houses are being built, right? Whether it's a custom build where a client is getting the house built, or if it's a contractor and they're getting the house built, or a developer, you ask them, what were some areas of improvement? I guarantee you that the majority of the things that they're going to speak about are going to be work ethic related. People not doing things that they're supposed to do, people not showing up the way they're supposed to show up. It's across the board. This is the industry. It's a construction problem, a real estate problem. It's a human problem. People not showing up with that enthusiasm, with the right motivation, with the commitment to do more than just get a paycheck, but to actually create a product. We're talking about a real estate product. So my goal is to continue to infuse the world with this clarity of what it's really going to take to improve the housing industry, so we can start going upward instead of just, kind of being in this reactionary state that is influenced by a lack of work ethic across the board. I'm Munir Bahar, and this is Conversations with a Contractor. Comment if you agree, comment if you don't agree, like, don't like, doesn't matter. Let's just stay engaged.